They claim to be nice guys, but we all know they're not. Welcome to this episode of Nice Guys. Our first one is from Black Widow 01. I agree with her.
Woman called me creepy. I hit on someone at the grocery store, just trying to be nice, and told her her outfit was nice. We had a little back and forth, and I asked her for her number, and she said I'm too old. I asked her how old she was, and she said 19. I told her I'm only 30-ish, and she started laughing and told me there's probably a reason I can't get someone my own age, which is just silly as fuck, and I told her so. I told her if I want kids, dating younger is my only choice. She said she had her tubes tied. Most likely BS. No one would let a woman make that choice on her own that age, and doesn't want them. I told her we could just have some fun and get to know each other, and she said she's going back to her dorm room with a lot of attitude and yelling the last part. I feel like shit, and women just enjoy shitting on guys these days for fun.
How do you get to, will you have my children, within a couple minutes of meeting someone? If someone tells you they had their tubes tied, it definitely means you asked the wrong question. I believe her tubes tied themselves up when he popped the having babies comment. My tubes tied themselves just reading that. That man single-handedly wiped out thousands of future babies and women like me. Leave it to a nice guy to try to play the victim when they literally act like a fucking creep. Those kinds of things are not things you talk about when you first meet someone, but I guess in the nice guy's mind, they definitely are. This next one is by Traditional Courage.
The tragedy for nice guys in this world is one, everyone blames them. Why are you so kind and soft against others? That's why you don't, girls. 2A, but the irony is most of these soft guys can have it very hard at another body part, in the right moment. 2B, why don't one of these girls allow the nice guys to have the experience in the bedroom? I bet in action with such a guy, the girl would be sweating and running out of breath like riding an elliptical at the gym. 2C, that could just be the performance the girls deserve in the bedroom. Instead, they just go for the ED disappointment, which is usually the maximum that most chads could deliver. Shaking my head, seriously.
I'm shaking my head at the fact that they needed to do 2A, 2B, and 2C instead of just 1, 2, 3, 4, but this is a great example of how nice guys' minds think, and they definitely don't think on the right track. This next one is from The Philly Explorer.
Man, imagine if all men just decided to not date. How women would be affected by it. Would be astounding if all guys just decided not to text their crush or girl of interest. If all guys just decided to go to the gym and make the F-sing bread. How women would just fall to their knees because of loneliness and lack of attention. Women always gaslighting and making up lies and excuses for these behaviors, like we supposed to accept how they are when a man can simply get $100 and go do something. Y'all are holding back for some reason from the nice guy, but not from Chad. Like if it was some Indiana Jones treasure.
Imagine if all the nice guys just quit complaining online, started looking at themselves and realizing that half of the shit they're posting is gaslighting stuff, and half of the stuff they post is literally stuff that is the furthest thing to attract women. Maybe then they'd start being successful, but I just don't see that happening. This next one is by Amazing Relief 8382.
At least say something when you match. In today's women's world, I expect a bit more proactivity and less attitude. Why did we match exactly? And when I have the decency to initiate contact and ask meaningful questions, am I met with an attitude that screams regrettable life choices?
No, what I think this nice guy is doing isn't asking meaningful questions. They're probably being stupid fucking idiots and demanding things and initiating contact in all the wrong ways. This next one is from I Only Get to Fart in Here.
I hate most women. Now, I'm not a misogynistic guy, and my mother and sister has always been very supportive throughout my life. But most of the other women I've met are usually very judgmental. In college, I was bullied a lot by other women over simplest things such as my clothing. They weren't even my friend, yet they were bashing me over my clothes when it was absolutely no of their business. And I hate how most women are so demanding on men. They always want the greenest, best man, and most of them can easily cheat you the moment they find a better guy, from my personal observation. Another thing that I dislike about most women is their back-talking. I was once told by a friend of mine that a girl in the class has said that I look like a frog, literally. I also hate the fact that some feminist women are pretty much insufferable. They make womenism and feminism their entire personality. Is there something wrong with me personally? I can't really handle any more pain and intimidation by the women's I have personally met throughout my life.
I fail to see how one can say they're not misogynistic when they're literally going on a rant, basically showing how much they hate and loathe the opposite gender. I don't understand it in any way, shape, or form, but then again, I don't understand how these nice guys think because I'm just a normal guy. These guys are a whole nother ballpark. And our final one is by Wife Evelyn.
I got rejected by a woman last week. I asked her out for a bite to eat and she told me she wasn't in a place to date right now, but she was so flattered and happy I asked. I wasn't really bothered by it. I'm in my 40s and working on a 100% rejection rate, even getting a first date, so it was to be expected. We talked for a bit, she texted me a few times, so it was nice to not have been ghosted. Well, last night I caught her on a date at the place I asked her out to. I wasn't happy internally, but what could I do? I'm not owed anything by her, and she is not my property, so whatever. I really didn't appreciate being lied to, but again, it is what it is. I was content to just move on, but she has since sent me a few text messages trying to explain her side. I don't really care about her side, and I responded briefly and coldly. I feel very bitter right now because this isn't a one-off occurrence. It's the story of my fucking life. I honestly don't even know what is the point of liking anyone if no one is ever gonna reciprocate interest. All I know for sure is that I'm not interested in being her emotional tampon whenever she wants to vent. I didn't mind that in the past because I genuinely cared about women who did it, but it really hurts when that's all they see you as. I listened with interest and engaged with appropriate responses, not because I wanted to get in their pants, but because I like them as people. The end result is always, and I mean always, lies and a complete dismissal towards my own feelings when they inevitably get bored and ghost me. I am suffering from severe effects of loneliness on my body that most people who ever read cannot even conceive of. I hugged a woman I liked a few months ago, and I couldn't believe how much stress and anxiety was lifted for weeks after. It was like literal weights were removed from my chest, and I never even knew this was a thing. I think the last time I was allowed to hug a woman, I was a teen in the 90s. I feel so deprived of the basic human experiences most people take for granted. But yeah, right now I feel bitter. Bitter enough to not care if someone calls me an incel. Bitter to not care about any woman's problems anymore if they don't care about mine. Bitter that I have to live with the knowledge that people date others they find reprehensible just because they are bored or they want a free meal, and I could never even get that. Edit. The biggest takeaway I'm getting from this is that people really have a problem with me using the word emotional tampon. They literally don't care about being a 40-year-old dateless virgin suffering from touch starvation, etc. That's not important. Fuck my feelings. I said emotional tampon. This is now my new favorite word.
Just reading your responses to comments here makes me recoil. I can only imagine all the contempt and rancor you must be exuding in person. People pick up on these things, mostly subconsciously, so it's no wonder you're getting such consistent rejection. An attitude adjustment is in order if there's any hope of salvaging your love life. Good luck.
Thanks for the useless and hollow observation.
Not only are you insufferable, you are a coward too. Blocking people whose comments you don't agree with and not allowing them to respond? You truly deserve the life you have right now. I sincerely hope nobody suffers the misfortune of becoming your romantic partner. What a disgrace. Which is seemingly what you want. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face. You admit these women owe you nothing, yet you feel entitled to something more than having a friend to vent to. You're bitter because your perspective and narrative is distorted. Until you get therapy, you aren't going to find what you want. It sucks to be lonely. You aren't entitled to anything from anyone. Every man I dated for a significant time, and the one I married, were all best friends first. That's not a dead end, nor should you expect anything else. Be a human looking to connect with other humans in any form. Okay, so you don't care if you come across as an incel, but that's not going to get you anywhere with women, which is seemingly what you want.
The complete and total lack of reading comprehension is unbelievable with some people here. It's like some of you guys just run with whatever narrative you have in your head.
If you're this aggressive and blunt in real life, it's little wonder why you're alone. Bro, look at yourself and ask, would I date me? Do you have a balanced social life? Are your finances in order? Are you a capable and competent man? Is your physical appearance, grooming, and health in order? My guess is that you've been majorly lacking in one or many of these categories, which has made long-lasting changes in your demeanor. Your lack in these categories is probably visually apparent to the women who have rejected you, or if not outright apparent, subconsciously in the least. You only have yourself to blame. You haven't made the appropriate sacrifices or choices.
Another smooth brain take.
The only smooth brain in this entire interaction is the nice guy who literally is being told how they can correct their fucking errors, and they just are so anti-fix themselves, I guess. They are so on that path of being a nice guy and that pity pot. I don't think they're ever gonna lose their virginity. Alright, that's enough niceness for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Nice Guys. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.